Hello and welcome back, good people. In this video, we're going to look at one of the tools that I use in order to host all the plethora of websites I've got. And I've got a couple of dozen websites. As you'll see on screen, it is Siteground. And yes, I do promote Siteground, but only from the perspective of I walk the walk and I talk the talk. And what I mean by that is I have been with a plethora of hosting companies for my own personal websites, but likewise when I worked in the agency, the client side, and then more so when I was freelance and I was contracted alongside agencies, I work with everything from GoDaddy, Bluehost, WPX, you name it. There is a range of web hosting companies out there. Now, I'm not knocking them because I think it depends it's very much horses for courses sort of approach, in the sense that it depends what you want. But I can tell you some of the things that I know that float my boat and give me peace of mind at the end of the day when you know how valuable your online assets are. And I'll tell you for why. You need something that will give you strong security. So the SSL certificates, Siteground does that for free. Okay. Also, I need to make sure that there's a rock solid backup system. Siteground does that daily automatically. And then if I have messed up the website, and I've done that numerous times, it's a one-click install and it goes back through the history. There are some hosting companies out there do not work that way. And then when you do inevitably come into some issues, and you will, it's not a case of if, it's when, then it becomes a mountain to climb. And the longer that website can be down, more so if it was an e-commerce website, the more that becomes an issue. So things like that are absolutely vital. And yes, I know there'll be some people that don't like Siteground. They've tried it, it's not for them. I totally get that. It's whatever your experience is and whichever one you feel you've got the most value out. The other caveat that I look at as well is contact or support. Now, like most of the support companies these days, or hosting companies, sorry, these days, they all get bombarded with so many tickets or people trying to contact them. So Siteground take the same approach as everyone else. You come through their knowledge pages where there's lots of FAQs, frequently asked questions, and that allows you sometimes to resolve your problem. But if you're persistent and you go through those, you will get to the contact, and then you can do it one of two ways. You can either do it by the online chat, and I've done that numerous times over the years, and I can tell you hand on heart, it has been a 5 out of 5 star service every single time. There's nothing I haven't tried to resolve, and I have tested them in every which way you can imagine, from breaking the site through the DNS settings to literally putting the wrong code in there and not knowing where my files have gone. They've disappeared even from the file manager. To be fair to them, they have always managed to resolve issues and get me back up and working within the very shortest amount of time. And when I mean that, literally an hour or less. That's amazing. Likewise, contact's important, but also then a good, decent form of hosting, i.e. from the sense that it doesn't matter how big or how small the website is, the website runs fast and it provides the necessary tools underneath it to do so. Now, with most of these hosting companies, Siteground included, you can scale up. So as you'll see on the screen here, the pricing is pretty reasonable. If I come through on their pricing guide, it says from $2.99 a month. I can tell you hand on heart what I pay is £320 a year, and that runs all my websites lightning fast with plenty of visitors to it. So when you look at the hosting here, ideally, you can do anything from the standard WordPress, or if you've got an e-commerce and you need WooCommerce integration. I know several clients I still deal with that have a combination of both, and are more than happy. Ultimately, hosting should answer one fundamental question. Can I basically load my website on the internet? It runs fast, I have no problems with it, and I can forget about it. And ideally, Siteground has been that. And as I've said, I've gone through 1, 2, 3. I've used WPX. I've used a range. Ionis I've used loads of companies. None of those are bad companies. I still work with a good few of those for clients, and they are good in their own rights. But for me personally, when I'm looking after my own portfolio, it's Siteground. And when it comes to the pricing, it's fantastic. Recently, I just transferred, because I just bought another website, and I had it transferred from the web developer. Even without needing the access to get in there, you could do this, switch the IPS tag. It's a flawless system. So you can retain the security of your website, which is fundamental these days. So I just wanted to give you a quick insight into that. You can look at the hosting. I mean, the hosting's pretty cheap, starts from $2.99, and then you can scale it up. You know, you've got three main ones there: the Startup, the Grow Big, and the Go Geek. But even at £10 a month, what that gives you, 40 gig of space, unlimited number of websites, and 100,000 visitors a month. Once you get there, and I know there are, you know, some affiliates that will be watching it and say, well, yeah, I get 100,000 on one single site. Totally get it. There are scalable options out there. I currently do that with several clients who use Ionis and their Plesk system, and that is totally scalable on a virtual private server, a VPS. So horses for courses. If you're starting out, and this is really who I'm talking to as my target audience, starting out, or you're starting to just, you know, find your way with it online, Siteground is a great choice. And if you move your website to them, they will do it for free. That's a brilliant caveat in order to, you know, because none of us are technically savvy when it comes to servers and DNS settings and all the necessary paraphernalia that run under the hood, purely because we've got our jobs to do. But having dealt with them a number of times to fix issues like this, Siteground have done that process flawlessly and simple as well. So I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to be as open and honest as possible, because it is what I'm going to demonstrate and use for the spicesplate.com. But just, you know, I've had a couple of people already reach out to me and say, well, what do you use? Siteground. Pretty much all the time, every time. That's it. Just wanted to leave you with that message. See you in the next video.